All right, this is lesson 5, and we're going to do more problem solving. I know you're thrilled to see that. Okay, let's take a look at this first question. If the two walls of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. were connected, an isosceles triangle was formed. Okay, so let's first kind of look at this isosceles triangle. Let's remember what an isosceles triangle is. Isosceles triangle is a triangle where two sides are equal in length. Okay, we talked about that earlier in, I think it was lesson 2. Okay. The measure of the third angle is 97.5 degrees more than the measure of either of the two equal angles. Okay, so remember, if these two sides are equal, these two angles are equal. But now we have this third angle they're talking about, and it's 97.5 degrees more than the measure of this angle. Okay, so this angle is 97.5 more than that angle. Okay, any of the two equal angles. So this is what we have. This is 97.5 plus x degrees. This is x degrees. This is x degrees. And it says find the measure of the third angle. So we want the measure of this angle. Okay, we can do that. First thing we have to realize is, what do we really know? Well, we already know a lot, because we know this is isosceles, so we know these are equal, and we know this is 97.5 degrees more than that. So we have this setup. That's like our key. That's beautiful. But we need more information. The other information, remember, is to write down what you know in words. Well, what we know in words is that all these angles, the three angles, add up to 180 degrees. Okay, the sum of the angles equal 180 degrees. So that's how we're going to solve this. So we have x plus 97.5 plus x equals 180 degrees. Not every degree measure is a whole degree measure. Sometimes it's a half a degree measure, or whatever, okay, so some decimal number. And sometimes you'll see in trig that you can even do minutes, okay, for angles. Okay, so here we go. We have x plus x plus x, which is 3x, plus 97.5 equals 180. So we subtract 97.5. All right, look at this, a little bit of decimals going on. So I'm going to add 0.0 for a placeholder. Okay, I'm going to borrow from 80, make it 79. There's 5, 2, 7 minus 9 can't do it. We get 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. Okay, so we have 82.5. And this is what's equal to 3x. Again, I can tell if this is divisible by 3 by adding all these digits. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 5 is 15. 15 is divisible by 3. So this is going to work out rather nicely. I love when it works out nice. 3 into 8 goes twice, with a remainder of 2. 3 into 22 goes 7 times, with a remainder of 1. 27.5 degrees. So this angle is 27.5 degrees. This angle is 27.5 degrees, but remember, they call this the third angle, and that's what they want. So they want 97.5 plus 27.5, okay, which is 125 degrees. And I can check if I'm right if the three of them add up to 180. I can do that check if I want. I'm going to do that check in a moment. Okay, just to make sure that 3 of these add up to 180. Okay, remember this came out to be 27.5, so a bit of the check would be 27.5 plus 27.5 plus this. What did we say we got? 125. That's supposed to be 180. 5 plus 5 is 10, carry the 1. 14, 19, 20, carry the 2. 2, oh, forgot my decimal. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1. 180 degrees. So there we go. So my third angle, which is what they asked me for, is 125 degrees, and we're good. All right, let's see what you remembered from the last lesson as far as putting this all together. Okay, it says the measure of the second angle, this is in your workbook, the measure of the second angle of a triangle is twice the measure of the smallest angle. So you have the second angle, the smallest angle. Then it says the measure of the third angle. So you have second, smallest, third. Those seem to be what I need for the key. Okay, and then it talks about these angles. So what I'd like you to do is set up the key and set up the equation you'd want to solve. All right, let's see what you got. We have a key. We said it's the second smallest and third angle of a triangle. you can draw a triangle if you'd rather and just make sure, but make sure you use these words because the words are in the problem, so it's a lot easier to follow. Okay, so it says the measure of the, remember there's three unknowns. We're going to stop reading as soon as it talks about two of them. Here we go. And remember these are angles. That's important. They're not sides. Oh, what does that say? I have no idea. Remember these are angles. That's important. They're not sides. Okay, here we go. The measure of the second angle is twice the smallest. Okay, stop. The measure of the second is twice the smallest. So I know something about the second, but I know nothing about the smallest. So the measure of the second is twice the smallest, at least not directly. Okay? Measure of the second is twice the smallest. Let's continue from there. If this is going to be easy, they're going to start with this angle, the third angle, because we don't know anything about it. Then it says, the measure of the third angle, yes, the measure of the third angle is 3 times the measure of the smallest. 3 times the smallest. So there's 3x. And then it says, find the measure of the angle. So you want all the angles. So now, it doesn't really say anything per se about the angles, but what do you know about all the angles of a triangle? Yes, you know their sum is 180. So that you have to remember to be able to do this, problem. So we have 2x plus x plus 3x equals 180. That's 3x, 4x, 6x. 6x equals 180. Oh, I think I can do this one in my head. Divide by 6. X equals 30 degrees. 30 degrees is your smallest angle. Then we have 2 times 30 for your second, 60 degrees. And then we have 3 times 30, which is 90 degrees. Okay? So we're going to make sure that they add up to 180. 90 and 30 is 120, 120 and 60 is 180, but it's got to follow all this, everything the problem says. So one more time, we're going to read the problem through. Okay? The measure of the second angle is twice the smallest. Second is twice the smallest. Here it is. Perfect. The measure of the third angle is 3 times the smallest, and this is 3 times the smallest. We're done. So my 3 angles are 90 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees. If you care, we have a right triangle. If you really care, let's think about this for a second. If we have a 90-degree angle, and one is 30 degrees and the other one is 60, we know it's a right triangle because they're the one right angle. Is this scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? Remember, scalene means no sides equal, equilateral means all sides equal, and isosceles means 2 sides equal. If you think about this, that remember, opposite the equal sides of the equal angles, well, we know that none of these angles are equal, so therefore none of these sides are equal, which makes this a scalene right triangle. That was free. That had nothing to do with the problem. That was free information. Okay, so that's a really cool problem. Let's try another one. All right, now we're really going to make it crazy because we're going to take what we just did and what we did in the previous lesson and put it all together. So take a look at this next question that says solve algebraically, so we know we're going to do a little x's here. It says find a degree measure of each angle of a triangle, and there are 3 because there's 3 sides, 3 angles to a triangle. The degree measures are 3 consecutive integers. So try that one, do it start to finish, and then click back when you're ready. All right, you ready? Let's see how you did. Okay, so we know that they're consecutive integers. So the first angle, remember, these are angles of a triangle. The first angle, not angles, first angle, second angle, okay, there's the angle, third angle. Okay, x, consecutive integers, not even, not odd, just regular consecutive. So x plus 1, they go up by 1, x plus 2. Now their angles, what do we know about the angles? Again, we know the 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180. So it's x plus 1 plus x plus 2 equals 180. Hopefully you got there. That's the equation. Now we get to solve it. So 1, 2, 3 x's plus 3 equals 180. Subtract 3. 3x equals 177. Again, we can see if it's divisible by 3. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 15 is divisible by 3, so the number, I love that. I just love that. Okay, so here we go. X equals 3 into 17 goes 5 times with a remainder of 2. 3 into 27 goes 9 times. So this is angle measure, so that's 59 degrees. So this is 59 degrees. This is 59 plus 1. I can do that in my head. Oh, give me a calculator. 60 degrees. 59 plus 2 is 61 degrees. Notice they are 3 consecutive integers. Integers. Don't have to be even or odd, just integers. And they're supposed to add up to 180. 59 plus 61 is 120. Plus 60 is 180. We are done. So the 3 angles that are consecutive integers are 59, 60, and 61. Way to put all this stuff together. All right. We're going to do another problem in a second. All right, this next problem talks about the perimeter of a triangle and asks us if this problem is the same or different as the others. So read this, take a look at it, and just go to your workbook. And I don't want you to do anything but jot down how, if you think it's the same or different and how it's the same. Well, if it's the same, you don't have to tell me how, because it's the same. But if it's different, how and what makes it different. Okay, and then click back when you're ready. Okay. This is small, but the last 2 problems we did, or maybe 3 problems we did, we were talking about the angles in a triangle, that they add up to 180. This isn't talking about the angles of a triangle. It's talking about a perimeter and the sides of a triangle. So this is different. That's the way it's different. So now that we know that, the perimeter of a triangle is 29 centimeters. And you know how to get the perimeter of triangle. You add up all the sides. So now you have enough information to solve this problem. So would you just do not solve it, but at least set up the key for this problem. And the key would be, let's read this a little bit, the length of the second side, and you have the first side and the third side. So you're going to have the first, second, third side for the key. Start setting that up, and we'll come back when ready. All right, so let's take a look at what you got for the key. We helped you a little bit, and we have the first side, the second side, and the third side. And now we're going to read, right? Here we go. In case you didn't like reading, you're in the wrong course. Here we go. The perimeter of a triangle is 29 centimeters. That's nice. Doesn't go in a key. That tells me the first plus the second plus the third side equals 29. That's what that tells me. So that's nice, and we're going to need it to help us with the equation, but it doesn't really help us with the key. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to yell stop when I want you to stop reading. The length of the second side is 6 more than the first. Stop reading. It talks about 2 sides. Of those 2 sides, the second and the first, we're going to make one of those x. So the length of the second side is 6 more than the first. So it tells me something about the second, but doesn't tell me much about the first. Not directly. So we're going to let x equal the first side. Now the second side is 6 centimeters more than the first. That's what I know. X plus 6 or 6 plus x doesn't matter. Okay. Now for the third side. If this is really easy, remember, because in one of the slides on the last lesson we had to turn it around, but if it's really easy, they'll start talking about the third side. If it doesn't, we're going to have to rewrite it so it does. So here we go. It says, the length of the third side, awesome. The length of the third side is 2 centimeters more than the second. So this is 2 centimeters more than the second. Oh, that's interesting. 2 centimeters more than the second. 2 centimeters more than the second. This is the second. Don't really need those parentheses, but just want to show you 2 centimeters more than means plus the second. So this is really just 2 plus 6 plus x, or x plus 8, or 8 plus x. Doesn't matter. These are the 3 sides. So now we have the length of all 3 sides. We're going to throw them into this formula. So we have x plus 6 plus x plus 8 equals 29. Solving this, combine all our like terms, 1x, 2x, 3x. 8 plus 6 is 14, equals 29. Okay, now we're going to solve for x. Subtract 14, subtract 14. You should be able to do this in your sleep by now, right? And 29 minus 14 is 15. That is divisible by 3. Good. Life is nice. We haven't been getting many fractions. Maybe we'll get more later, okay, because I know that doesn't make you happy. It's too easy. Okay, so x equals 5. 5 what? Well, remember this is in centimeters. So this is 5 centimeters. What is 5 centimeters? The first side. So the first side is 5 centimeters long. The second side is 6 plus what we just got for x, 5 or 11 centimeters. And finally, the last side or the third side is 5 plus 8 or 13 centimeters. So we have 5 centimeters, 11, 13. We have to make sure it answers all the questions or all the parts. First part is that the perimeter is 29. 13 plus 11 is 24, so here comes the check. Plus 5 is 29, so that checks out. Now the other things, the length of the second is 6 more than the first. This has got to be 6 more than this, and it is. And finally, the length of the third side is 2 more than the second. This is 2 more than the second, and it is. It all checks out. I love that. Beautiful. Don't make a big deal about this. It's really simple. Just make the key. The key is the key. The key is the key. Great problem. We're going to do the next one in a minute. All right. This one we have an isosceles triangle whose perimeter is 108. Oh, I said and. See, I shouldn't be saying and because and means decimal. 108 inches. Okay. I want you to try this one. Go to your workbook. Set it up. Solve it only if you feel like you are absolutely right. Otherwise, just set up the equation and the key, and we'll do the rest, okay? And click back when you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's see how good you did. The perimeter of an isosceles triangle. Now, let's talk about what we know about an isosceles triangle. Two sides are equal. The perimeter is 108. The third side is 8 inches less than the sum of the equal sides. So here's what we got. We got the first side, the second side, and the third side. Now think about what this says. It says that the third side is 8 inches less than the sum of the equal sides. So they're calling this the equal side. So we'll make them equal. There they are. Those are my two equal sides. Isosceles, two sides have to be equal. And the third side is 8 inches less than the sum. 8 inches less than the sum. Sum of the equal sides. Got to be careful here. 8 inches less than the sum of the equal sides. Let's see what that means to us. Oh, I better take out this equal. You're going to think it means an equal sign. I don't want to do that. Okay, here we go. 8 inches less than. Less than means switch the order. The sum of the equal sides. So what comes first? The sum of the equal sides. So the equal sides are x. So the sum of the equal sides is 2x. And here's my less than, 8. So that's my third side, 2x minus 8. See how we did that? Less than switches the order. Sum of the equal sides goes first. That's 2x, because that's the sum of them, x plus x, and 8 less than that. So 2x minus 8 is my third side. Okay. So that gives us the key. That was a great little description. Okay. I'm going to erase this a little bit so I have more room. And now I'm going to do this problem. We know the perimeter is 108. Okay, here we go. So that means we'll have to add this up. X plus, and you could probably add this up in your head, but I want to just write it all down. 2x, 3x, 4x. 4x minus 8 equals 108. Right? Here we go. Add 8. Add 8. 4x equals, oh look, I get to remind you about the divisibility rule for 4. The divisibility rule for 4 says, look at the last two digits. If the last two digits make up a number, 16, it would be the number 16. If it makes up a number that's divisible by 4, the whole number is divisible by 4. And it does, so that is divisible by 4. How cool is that? I love that rule too. I love this. Math is awesome. Never changes. I love it. Okay, so 4 goes in 11 twice, remainder 3. 4 into 36 goes 9 times. So that's 29. So 29, and it is inches for the first side, 29 inches for the second side, and for the third side, it's 2 times 29 minus 8. 2 times 29 is 58, minus 8 is 50. Oh, I put degrees. It's not degrees, it's inches. Sorry about that. Inches. So this should be your answer. Let's make sure we check it. Okay, here we go. You ready? These have to add up to 108. 29 and 29 is 58, plus 50 is 108. That checks out. Now, what else has to happen? We know we have two equal sides. Well, that's easy. Then we have to have a third side that is 8 less than the sum of the other two. Well, the sum of the other two is 58, and that's 8 less than that. So it all checks out. Awesome. Be very careful of only checking that it adds up to what you want, because that's not the check. It's got to answer every part of the problem, not just the sum or the difference or whatever. Another great problem. Okay, looks so hard, but really are not that hard. We're going to do another one in a minute. Okay, in this next problem, we're talking about complementary angles. And remember, complementary angles are two angles that when you add them together, they equal 90 degrees. I want you to try this problem in your workbook, and then click back when you're ready. All right, how'd you do on this? Let's check. Make sure you checked it, right? So here we go. We'll check it for you. We have two angles, and they're complementary. So, I mean, to do a key, I'm just going to do this. Angle, it's complement. You could have called it something else. Don't worry about what you called it. Or two angles, doesn't matter what you called it. Okay. Now, remember, they're complements of each other. Somebody's got to be x. So make x somebody. Doesn't really matter. But now we know the other one is 30 degrees more than twice the other. So this angle is 30 degrees more than twice that. 30 degrees, and you could have had it reversed. Doesn't matter. 30 degrees more than twice that angle. That's what I know. So there's an angle, and there's its complement. I'm kind of done with my key, and now I have to wonder what else I know. Well, I know that if they're complementary, their sum is 90 degrees. That's important. That's going to set up the equation for me. So it's x plus 30 plus 2x equals 90, which is 3x plus 30 equals 90. Look, I'm giving you such easy numbers. So cool. 3x equals 60. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X equals 20. And this is degrees. They're angle measures. So this angle is 20 degrees. And this angle is 20. Oops, not 20 there. That's a 30. That's a constant. 30 plus 2 times 20 is 30 plus 40, or 70 degrees. If we did this right, their sum is 90, and it is. If we did it right, this is 30 more than twice that. Twice that is 40. 30 more is 70. All checks out. Beautiful thing. They look so hard until you just break them down. Again, the key is the key. Okay. Let's see what we can do with this next problem. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this problem. Linda charges $700, understand it's a woman, cool. Linda charges $739 to repair an AC, including $323 in parts and 8 hours of labor. How much does she charge per hour for labor? She has spent a long time working on your AC. Okay, now here's the deal. I'm going to talk about what makes this problem a little different. The first things we did was direct translation. Then we did some two unknowns. Okay, then we actually had two unknowns. Then we did some three unknowns. Then we went to consecutive integers, which were lots of unknowns, but still a direct translation. This is a totally different problem. To me, this is almost the most challenging one, and I'll tell you why. Because here you actually need a formula. You actually need to be saying to yourself, it's not about angles of a triangle that I had to memorize. It's not about perimeter, which I had to memorize. It's not about, what does perimeter mean? It's not about memorizing consecutive integers. It's about, this is a real world problem, and what happens in the real world to solve this. So when the problem, and this hint is in your workbook, when a problem needs a formula, and you don't know where to start, just kind of write down what you know in words and go from there. So let's take a look about what we know in words, okay? So here's what we know. I know that the cost of the parts plus the cost of labor equals my total cost, which is my $739. That's what I know, okay? So the cost of the parts plus the cost of the labor equals my total cost. This is simple. This is my $739. The cost of my parts is simple. It's $323. The cost of the labor is not so simple, but in a way it is, because truthfully I only have one unknown here. The unknown is how much I charge per hour. Now, what is the cost of the labor really? Well, the cost of the labor in words is how much I work, how many hours I work, times how much I get paid. So it's really the number of hours worked times, and it doesn't matter which order you put this in, number of hours worked times the, what does she call it, the fee per hour, cost per hour, or my labor charge, okay? So that's really what it is. So here's what I have now. This is what's really going on. And let me explain this. If I charge $5, well, if I work 1 hour, then I make $5. If I work 2 hours, then I make 5 times 2, or $10. So this should make sense. If this doesn't make sense, ask your instructor, wait for her, and then move on. Okay, here's what I know. The cost of the parts is $323, right? $323 plus the number of hours worked, which I know she said she worked 8 hours. The cost per hour is what I don't know. That's my unknown, and in fact, my only unknown. Okay, and that equals my total cost, which is, or my total charge, whatever you want to say, $739. So that's how I need to set that problem up. Pretty cool. And it didn't, listen, the biggest mistake I think students make are one of two. Either they look at this problem and go, I don't know how to do it, and don't even try. Or the other thing is, they read the problem and go, just start writing down numbers looking for an equation. There's no way you should go from here to here. You should really try to go to the words to say, in real life, what is going on? This is truly what's going on. So I think it's important not to skip this step. Okay, now we're going to solve this. So this is 8x equals, this is 6, this is 1, 7 minus 3 is 4. So we get 416, we divide by 8, we divide by 8, x equals 8 into 41 goes 5 times, remainder 1, 8 into 16 goes 2. 52, what is 52? 52 is her cost per hour. So she's charging you $52 per hour. Pretty cool. All right, and that's the end of that problem. But I have to tell you, I find this the most challenging because most people don't want to think about this. But this is the key to write down here, write down exactly what's going on in words. Why didn't I make a key like the other problems? Because we only have one unknown. Remember, the key like the other problems were really for more than one unknown. So that's how I got here. Great problem, and you're going to see a lot of these. All right, now it's your turn. I showed you what we did there for that last problem. I want you to look at this car rental company problem, and it says you try this one, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to go to your workbook, and you try this one. Click back when you're ready. All right, I hope you tried this one. I know it's a lot easier not to try it and just let the video keep going, but I have to tell you, it is absolutely important to try these on your own. And if you're having trouble, raise your hand, have the instructor come over and help you do it. Don't just wait for me to give you all the answers, because when you go home to do the homework, you're going to have a problem. Okay, so you ready? Here we go. A car rental company charges $48 per day. Okay, so I'm going to write that down so I know what's going on. $48 per day, okay? And 32 cents per mile. All right. To rent a mid-sized car. If you rented a mid-sized car from this company for 3 days, so you're renting for 3 days, and your total bill before taxes was $177.28, your total charge. Okay, how many miles did you drive? So I want to know the miles you drove. Okay. This is almost exactly like the one we just did, because here's what I know. I know that I'm charged, let's say it's day plus miles. Okay, so it's amount for days plus, or I should say charge. Oh, I'll leave mouth. Plus charge for miles equals the total charge. However you want to write that is up to you. Okay, so the amount for the days, well, it's $48 a day, but you have this car for 3 days. So it's $48 for the first day, for the second day, for the third day. So it's 48 times 3. That's a little different, plus the charge for the miles. Now, the charge for the miles is, again, it's 32 cents per mile. So every mile, so it's 32 cents times however many miles you go. Almost exactly like this. 32 cents times however many miles you go. And that equals your total charge, which is 17728, 177 and 28 cents. Now we're going to solve this. Takes a little bit of arithmetic, a little bit more. 3 times 48 is 4, carry 2, 4, 12, 144 plus 0.32x equals 177.28. I'm going to subtract 144. You ready? Don't forget your decimals. 140. You don't have a calculator, remember. 0.32x equals all. I'm going to have to divide by that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to have to subtract here. So, oh, what am I doing? 8 minus 0. Like I don't know how to do 8 minus 0. Okay, let's try that again, guys. All right, 177.28. Sorry about that. 8 minus 0 is 0, is 8. 2 minus 0 is 2. 7 minus 4 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. Good night there. So it's 0.32x equals 33.28. Can I write that a little straighter? Here we go. Subtracting. Now I'm going to have to divide. Okay, let's remind you how to divide decimals. Do you remember? Okay, here we go. This is 33.28 divided by 0.32. I have to move the decimal over here twice, so I have to move the decimal over here twice. So it's really 32 into 3328. That's what I really have. Are you ready? I'm going to do that here. Okay, that fell, didn't it? It always falls. Don't worry about it. I'll grab it in a minute. Okay, here we go. Little decimal there. 32 into 33 goes once. Remainder of 1. I'm doing short division. You may not remember short division, but I'm doing short division. And that's, you know what, let me do long division so you don't go crazy on me. A little bit more practice is better. Here we go. Okay, 32 goes into 33 once. That's 32. Subtract, you get 1. Bring down. Remember, dirty monkeys smell bad? Dirty monkeys smell bad. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. That's what we just did. 32 into 12 does not go. That's 0. Okay. So we now have to multiply that 0. We still get 12. If you want to go through all the steps, bring down. 32 into 128 should be 4. Is it 4? Please be 4. It is 4. 104. So the answer is 104. So that is 104 miles. That's how many miles you go for that cost. So 104 is the answer, and that was a little annoying, too much arithmetic for me. That's why I like calculators. But 104 miles is the answer for that one. And that's as hard as it gets. So you have to come up with your own formula sometimes. But it's not that bad if you think about what is really, really, really going on. And that is the end of Lesson 5. So next time, Lesson 6.